I'll call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College District. Trustees present, Mr. J.J. De Leon, Ms. Alejandra Aldrete, Mr. Ruben Herrera, Dr. Tony Zavaleta,
Present.
Mrs. Eva Alejandro, Mrs. Delia Sainz, myself, also present, our President, Dr. Jesus Roberto Rodriguez. And I'll call on Dr. Zavaleta for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Public comments? None? Thank you. Mr. President, I'm going to say my chair's report before your president report.
Please, ma'am, go ahead.
Last week, we traveled to Austin. The president and I were able to meet with our legislators, and we did rather well. Senator Morgan Lamantia invited us to her swearing-in, which was really an honor. But we took advantage that everybody was there, and we spoke to Representative Longoria, Representative Erin Gamez's staff, because she was in session, Representative Guillen, State Representative Janie Lopez's chief of staff, because she was in session too. We had extended time with Representative Mando Martinez. His family and I go back many, many years, so we had not caught up in a long, long time. Then we found a past employee, Representative Eliseda, which is a good friend of mine, and he happens to be working with a new representative, Eddie Morales. Well, we showed up, and Eddie Morales is from Eagle Pass. So I had to take my president, which is from Eagle Pass, and they connected, so I think we acquired another vote for our cause for community colleges. Needless to say, we had a great conversation with all of them. I think the community college, as a group, community colleges we're trying to get the most for, now that the legislature has a surplus, I hope that we do get some for community colleges. I was going to say about something else, but I forgot. I was going to say about, I didn't write it. But anyway, that's no. I need to talk about the ribbon cutting that we had yesterday. But before I go into that, we did talk to legislators. My president, and I'm going to say this because I am so proud of the synergy that we have when we work together. You know, I can open the doors and I can come in, and the president right on cue starts talking about the needs of the community colleges, and it is amazing to watch his passion, his knowledge, and how much he cares for the district. So I want to thank you for that, and now I say I'm very proud, and I was very proud to be there and witness that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. But since we started, we always say this is a team of 8. And it's only with the support of the Board of Trustees and their commitment that allows us to continue to move forward. So thank you to the trustees and also to the employees for their hard work.
Thank you. On the ribbon cutting, we had our ribbon cutting yesterday for the diesel program and pipe fitting. And I was really, really surprised and amazed, and I'm glad Ms. Delia Sanz was there because she witnessed this. There's the program is just going to start in a couple of weeks. There were employers there really ready to hire our first class and second class and third class. As I understand, there is such a shortage of diesel mechanics that our students are going to have a great chance of being employed immediately. And also, we had the organizer of the pipe fitters, which travels to recruit all over the United States. And he was there also, and he told us that he needs 1,800?
18,000?
18,000 pipe fitters. So we cannot produce them fast enough. I'm proud of the work that this board has done to set up these programs. And I say this over and over, when we invested $25 million at iTech, it was a lot of money, and it hurt. But I think we're seeing the fruits of our labor, and pouring millions of dollars into the economy for the Cameron County. So doing good. Thank you to the board for staying steadfast and for creating this, and the best is yet to come. I really believe that. Thank you. Mr. President?
Thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, good evening. As always, great things are happening at Texas Southmost College, and it's been a while since we met. And there's many things I would like to catch you up on. On November 18th, we hosted the welcome reception for Chief Patrol Agent of the U.S. Border Patrol RGV Sector and TSC alumna Gloria Chavez. Trustees in attendance included Chair Garza, Vice Chair De Leon, Secretary Aldrete, immediate past Chair Herrera, and Trustee Sines. Chief Chavez, colleagues, family, and friends, local law enforcement representatives, and community members attended the meet and greet. We all had a really good time, and I want to thank the Chief for accepting our invitation. On November 30th, recipients of the TSC Foundation Scholarship were honored for their accomplishments. Over 100 attended the reception, which included community members, donors, students, and their families. 4 students shared their testimony and thanked the foundation and donors for their generosity and positive impact the scholarship has had on their educational journey. Chair Garza, TSC Foundation Board member, Dr. Gustavo Stern, and I share remarks as well. I want to thank Chair Garza, Vice Chair De Leon, Secretary Aldrete, and immediate past Chair Herrera for attending the reception, as it means a lot to our students in our community. On December 1st, it was a joyful Christmas tree lighting ceremony. This annual celebration included performance from the Raul J. Guerra Childhood Center, the St. Mary's Cheer Team, Jubilee Academy Cheer Team, Hannah High School Musicians, TSC Music Club, El Mariachi Ensemble, and the 21st Century Porter High School Conjunto. Guests were treated to various activities during our annual community event, including photos with Santa, as well as refreshments. Once again, I want to thank Chair Garza, Vice Chair De Leon, Secretary Aldrete, and immediate past chair for their participation in the event. Also want to thank Student Life and Facility for their work in organizing the tree lighting ceremony. On December 3rd, TSC was represented by Chair Garza, Vice Chair De Leon, and Secretary Aldrete, who participated in the Charro Days Inc. annual Brownsville Christmas Parade. So we were extremely well represented, as the float was also decorated in festive lights. As TSC continues to strengthen our relationship with the area law enforcement agencies, we were asked to host the first annual Toys for Tots Law Enforcement Flag Football Tourney on December 7th at the Rec Center Fields. We had a large contingent of law enforcement professionals on our campus that day, ready to hit the gridiron for a good cause. The teams brought unwrapped toys for their Toys for Tots campaign. And keeping up on that same subject of strengthening law enforcement agency relationships, the Brownsville Police Department held their annual Brownsville PD Holiday Luncheon at the TSC Performing Arts Center, Gold Room, on December the 8th. I want to thank Chair Garza for welcoming the group, including Police Chief and TSC alumna Felix Sauceda and City Manager Helen Ramirez. Later that day, Chair Garza and I attended the Greater Brownsville Incentive Corporation, GBIC, holiday reception, along with Dr. Joanna Kyle, Dr. Joseph Fleischman, and Dr. David Pierce. We were pleasantly surprised to learn that Texas Southmost College was recognized with the Outstanding Partnership Award during the event. On December 12th, the Texas Southmost College and Texas A&M signed an agreement for TSC to develop and provide training courses for Texas A&M RGV Advanced Manufacturing Hub. The partnership program aims to develop a skilled workforce in advanced manufacturing techniques in the Rio Grande Valley. Throughout this partnership, we are forging a new economic development pathway for the communities that we serve. We continue our communication with Texas A&M representatives and are working to identify the courses that we will be offering throughout this partnership. On December 14, Chair Garza and I participated in the ribbon cutting, the community garden and food pantry. The project is a good example of campus-wide collaboration and funding from the Valley Baptist Legacy Foundation and through a partnership of the Brownsville Wellness Coalition. This collaboration included the TSC architecture students who designed the garden, the construction students who built the flower beds and tool shed. Our economics students researched the economic impacts and benefits of the garden. Our biology students spread awareness by giving out pods, soil, and seeds. And the teaching students collected food to stock the food pantry that will eventually hold this produce. The community garden, along with the food pantry, will provide our students with access to fresh, healthy food grown from our community garden or donated by other students and employees. We know that one of the issues our students face is hunger. This project intends to address that barrier. The food pantry is located in the Liner Center. I want to thank all the departments that helped put this project together, from instructions to student services to grants to facilities. Thank you all for that great teamwork. On January 5th, Chair Garza and I attended the legislative session send-off reception hosted by the RGV Partnership and RGV Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, in which we were also sponsored of the event. Senator Morgan Lamantilla was in attendance to share remarks on her first legislative session. We wish the Rio Grande Valley delegation good luck in the 88th state legislative session. While at the event, Chair Garza and I spoke with key individuals to secure a place on the upcoming Rio Grande Valley Legislators Tour held January 26th through the 29th. I'm pleased to announce that the Texas Southmost College will be a stop during this tour. The RGV Partnership is expecting up to 50 state elected officials, representatives, and senators to come to the Rio Grande Valley over the 4 days. We'll be hosting this group at the TSC Performing Arts Center, showcasing the wonderful work that we're doing here at the college. Yesterday, January the 18th, we hosted a very successful ribbon cutting ceremony, as Madam Chair mentioned, about our diesel mechanics and pipe fitting program labs. We're heading in the right directions. We continue to open programs that are hiring our students. So thanks to the board's continued support in making this happen, because our focus is to make Texas Southmost College the destination place for workforce training in the Rio Grande Valley. Also, during the past 2 months that we have not met, we've also had various student service activities and events. We ended the fall semester on December 10th. Texas Southmost College hosted its fall 2022 commencement ceremony at the Jacob Brown Auditorium. Family and friends gathered to celebrate and support the TSC Scorpion graduates. Our commencement speaker was Chief Gloria Chavez, who inspired the crowd with her educational and professional journey. I'd like to thank Chair Garza, Vice Chair De Leon, Secretary Aldrete, immediate past Chair Herrera, and Trustee Saenz for attending the ceremony that morning. And thank you, Student Service, for organizing yet another successful ceremony.
Yes.
On December 16th, Student Service staff and I visited Eagley Elementary to deliver gifts to the elementary students. The TSC community donated unwrapped toys through our Angel Tree Toy Drive. And this year was no exception. The Scorpion community and family once again helped spread some holiday cheer to the children in our community. This is the first week of spring semester filled with Welcome Week activities, including the following: the Scorpion Navigation Station, Scorpion Resource Fair, Coffee and Career, and Scorpion Spirit Social. I do want to thank Student Services for continuing to organize events to keep our students engaged, as we know the engagement of our students with our college represents a higher percentage of retention and completion rates. On November 30th, representatives from the Commission on Accreditation for Respiratory Care, COARC, conducted a visit to the Respiratory Care Science Program and evaluated its performance standards. COARC representatives met with administration, faculty, graduates from the past 5 years, and current students. They discussed program needs and recommendations. COARC determined the program met the standards and the accreditation was approved for another 10 years. Congratulations to Dr. McCormick, Dr. Pierce, Program Chair Isidro Ramirez, and faculty and students for these accomplishments. Congratulations. As you know, annually we have holiday luncheons, the tamalada for our TSC employees. The luncheon was held on December 7th. Entertainment was provided by the Little Scorpions and poinsettias were given away. We're joined by newly elected BISD Board President Jessica Gonzalez and BISD Superintendent Dr. Rene Gutierrez. I want to thank Chair Garza, Secretary Aldrete, immediate past Chair Herrera, and Trustee Zavaleta for your participation and your words of inspiration to our TSC employees. So thank you so much. On January 9th, the TSC faculty and staff met in the morning to break bread and review the important updates to kick off a strong spring semester. On December 9th, over 300 middle school students from Lyford ISD toured the iTech Center. The students had the opportunity to visit the training labs and even took photos with some of the diesel tractors. They expressed their excitement at their possible career choices, and we received good feedback from the parents and the grandparents of their child's interest in going to college after high school. I want to thank Chris Lefebvre for continuing to organize field trips at the iTech Center for our area school districts. On December 9th, over 30 cadets graduated from the Criminal Justice Institute. I want to thank Chair Garza, immediate past Chair Herrera, and the CJI Advisory Board members who attended the ceremony. I also wanted to note that 1/3 of the graduates were women. We held 2 certified nurse assistants pinning ceremony in December for Los Fresnos Consolidated ISD students as well as Brownsville ISD students. And I want to thank Vice Chair Mr. De Leon for attending the BISD CNA ceremony. With the help of our Vice Chair De Leon, our WTC faculty and staff have met with BISD dropout prevention specialists. Their last meeting took place yesterday at the iTech Center. Thank you, Chair De Leon, for your commitment in supporting our partnership and making it stronger.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. The collaboration for me is right at home for me. These high school principals that came yesterday their minds were blown. They had never seen our facilities here at TSC, and these are our own principals here in our back door that have not been able to see our facilities. I want to thank Dr. Flashman because his work and his presentations are phenomenal. And, you know, it's a team effort with your administration, and I look forward to continue the collaboration with our BISD.
Thank you so much, sir. Well, at this time, I would like to call up on Mr. David Tomlinson to provide an update on the TSC Foundation.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, President Rodriguez. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to give a real brief update on the foundation since the holidays was in the middle of the last 2 meetings. But as President Rodriguez mentioned, November the 30th, we did have a great celebration and reception for our students who had received a foundation scholarship during the 2022-23 school year. It was well attended, as he mentioned, and the highlight was hearing from the students themselves, talking about the challenges that they do face as a college student nowadays and how much the scholarship has really helped them to stay in school and to continue their education. So thank you to those who attended, both from the Board of Trustees and also from faculty and staff. In addition, on December the 14th, we had our TSC Foundation Board of Directors meeting, and one of the highlights, as you can see here, is the receipt of a $5,000 check from Texas Community Bank. They did begin the fiscal year with supporting us during the golf tournament, and then they came in at the end of the year with this additional donation. So I want to thank Ms. Carmen Casanova and Texas Community Bank for thinking of Texas Southmost College. As always, it seems that I'm sorry, we'll go back one. Well, yeah. It seems that at the very bottom there that I bring up Mr. De la Garza, and it seems like it's every meeting or every other meeting, but my understanding is that he came by during the holidays, he went over to iTech, and he ran into President Rodriguez and Dr. Fleischman, and he continues to be impressed with the great things that are going on at Workforce. And so actually we received it right at the beginning of the new year, but he reached a little deeper into his pockets and donated another $5,000 towards workforce training.
Because your president is shameless, he begs.
He's shameless, yes, ma'am. And so he says that it hurt him a little bit to reach deeper into his pocket, but we know that he's just continuing to be a champion for TSC. And so as of today, on a personal donation from him, he's already reached $60,000 on a personal donation towards Workforce. So I want to thank the De La Garza family again. As I come to the close on this, there's some things that are coming up in the future that I just want to let the board know. January the 25th, we'll be having our executive committee meeting here at the foundation office, and then followed by, on February the 15th, the TSC Foundation Board of Directors meeting that usually occurs on campus will actually be occurring at iTech. And so that is on purpose so that we can show the Board of Directors all the great things that are also happening out at iTech. Finally, plans are underway for the TSC Foundation Sapphire Gala, which is scheduled for April of this year. It looks like it's going to be at the Oliveira Student Center up on the second floor again. And currently, we're trying to solidify the entertainment for that. And so once we do that, then the final date will be announced. Unless there's any questions, this concludes my report. And I just want to thank the entire board again for the support that you do provide to the foundation. Thank you.
Thank you. David, before you leave, I do want to acknowledge Mr. Tomlinson for his service to Texas Southmost College and the foundation. As you know, his last day with us is February 3rd, and I want to thank Mr. Tomlinson for his service and your fine work. Thank you, Mr.
President.
Tomlinson.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Now it is time for this month's video highlighting the activities that have occurred since we last met. Can you please roll the video?
produces the best, the hardest working students all around. You will always be a Scorpion, and we are so proud of you. And we cannot wait to see what the future will bring to you.
You are on your way to becoming that next generation of leaders we need in our families, in our workplaces, and in our civic organizations.
I enrolled in Texas Southmost College when I was 18 years old. My classes were exciting, challenging, and I began to see a whole new world. My success was seated in my time spent here at Texas Southmost College. You are strong-minded, strong-willed, intelligent, aspiring, young human beings that have had the great privilege to be born or raised in our beautiful South Texas Valley. Congratulations to class of 2022. Go Scorpions!
Thanking our board trustees for their commitment and support, not only to the college, but the communities that we serve. And I look forward to having a Scorpion-strong spring semester. Thank you so much. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 5, Criminal Justice Institute report.
Okay.
Mr. President, will you?
They're going to be passing out a report for you that just highlights a snapshot of where the academy is currently stands, which is on the second page. You see that we've made significant progress since we implemented the new guidelines and requirements this past spring semester. The Criminal Justice Institute has seen in a first attempt pass rate of TCOL tests significantly improve. The first cohort that tested under these new changes had a pass rate of 92.857%. This past graduation cohort that tested in December had an 88.333% pass rate on the first attempt. However, our overall first attempt pass rate for the previous 2 years has been below 80%. I anticipate we will be placed in an at-risk probation, but I also anticipate that we will remedy this situation quickly based on the current pass rate that we have seen with these new guidelines and requirements. I say this with confidence because we have a board of trustees who supports our efforts as we continue to improve the program. So it is an update of where we currently are, and we are in a midway through the FY 22-23 semester. We'll be starting a spring cohort, and anticipating test results will also be by the end of the year.
Mr. President, I would like for you to make a report from 2019 to 2023 of where this program has been, where the chips fell, and hopefully we can get a presentation next board meeting,
Yes, sir.
please.
If there are any further questions, that concludes my report.
Is there, or are there any particular characteristics of the 2020-21 class that you can identify that reduce their scores?
I think the whole new requirements of how we admit students to the academy and the process of how we go about during their testing process.
So we
and curriculum.
raised the requirements for admission?
Yes, sir.
Very good, very good.
Item number 6, consideration and possible action on the minutes of the following meetings.
I so move
Second.
For A or B?
both, if I may.
Yeah, I second both.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Herrera, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? All those in favor, sing so by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Finance Committee, and I'll call Mr. Herrera.
Ms. Alderete and I, who composed the Finance Committee, met on January 12, 2023. Members of the T administration and Board Legal Counsel were
Mr.
present.
Herrera, would you please speak into the microphone?
The Finance Committee met on Thursday, January 23. Present were Ms. Alderete, President Rodriguez, myself, and members of the TSC administration and legal counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 7A, consideration and possible action on approval of award of RFQ 20-44 for delinquent tax collection services. I will call on Dr. Figueroa to present the item.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Members of the board, President Rodriguez. Before you, you have the request for qualifications for delinquent tax collection services. This was RFQ 2224. We began the timeline with the published RFQ in August of last year, and we're here today to do a proposal to the Board of Trustees on this item. The scope of work for this RFQ is to hire legal counsel to collect delinquent taxes for our property taxes. Before this RFQ, we had been using the same tax collection attorneys as the Cameron Appraisal District. This time, we went on our own solicitation to ensure that we take control of that contract. Cameron County will still keep collecting our taxes, but we will have a direct contract with the attorneys doing the tax collection services. This RFQ was evaluated by Mr. Carlos Pecero, Ms. Crystal Height, and Ms. Kila Turtle. The committee evaluated the two proposals received, one by Linebarger, Gorgon, Blair, and Sampson, and another by Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, and Collins. And what you have here is the score based on the perception of those proposals submitted. The evaluation criteria is the same criteria we use in all of the RFQs. One thing you additionally have in your packet, it's a clarification on how the collection percentage rates collected by each firm was presented versus clarifying by both firms to ensure we were comparing them at the same level. This expense comes from the approved budget, what we pay. The property tax code does set a limit on how much they can charge, but once we negotiate the contract, that may change. It cannot go above what the law allows. And the proposal, we have both firms are qualified to do this job. Proposal A is to award it to Linebarger, Gorgon, Blair, and Sampson. Option B is to award it to Brandon, Fielder, and Collins. Again, both firms are qualified to do the job. Yes, sir.
The committee was not in agreement on recommending anyone. So we would bring this up to the board. As a board member, I would make a motion to approve number A, or letter A, which is Linebarger. I have been fighting with Linebarger for the past
Sir,
20 years.
into the mic, please.
Apologize.
Don't we have to have a second before discussion?
Yes.
Well, I make a motion to designate Linebarger as our tax collection attorneys.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Herrera, second by Ms. Delia Sines. Go ahead.
I've been fighting with Linebarger for the past 20 years. I could say working closely, but I am designated as an ad litem attorney by various courts, and I fight with them very often. I've never won, and I don't know of an attorney who wins against them. It's either you pay or you take, or they take your property to satisfy the debt that the taxpayer has against, the taxpayer has with the college, with the city, with whoever. They are good at what they do, and therefore I strongly recommend them. I've not been wine-dined, nor they have given me a campaign contribution, just clarification.
Ms. Adler.
Well, I first noticed issues when I saw the proposals. What was of particular concern was that the firm was reporting that they had collected 100.04% in a different jurisdiction. So that caught my attention. This led me to look into how this could be possible and discovered that the calculations being presented to us by this firm were misleading. Now, I'm not saying it was intentional, nor if it was a mistake. I did get clarification of calculations, and I got the percentage comparable of apples to apples. Thus, for the purpose of accountability, which I was voted to do, I think we need change. The current firm has been in place for decades and basically unchallenged in accountability. I think it is time for change, and that is why I'm voting against option A.
Dr. Zavaleta?
Yeah, I wanted to know what the percentage of collection that Linebarger was able to accomplish for us in this past year.
It's about 37%.
here.
Sir, the item is in your packet. Let me pull it up.
Excuse me?
Let me pull it up for you, sir. The item is in your packet. Give me a minute.
39.09%.
Yes, sir. That's
How much?
39.09
39% collection rate?
of the uncollected taxes. Yes, sir.
Yeah, the uncollected, so 70,
No.
So in total, it's about 98% between what the county collects, and then what they don't collect, it goes to collection, which in this case is the 37%,
Have you
the
had
39%.
do you have any comparison data for other community college districts like the one to the west?
Yes, sir. They're very comparable, about the same level on the uncollected, in the 40 mark, 30 to 40 mark.
Do you notice any characteristics, for example, because admittedly we come from a low-income area, it's more difficult to collect taxes here than in other parts of the more affluent?
Based on the information they provided, sir, all of the jurisdiction range between 30 and 40%.
Correct.
Okay.
So I've been in this board, and I've always said it, and I'll say it again, that I think an opportunity for other entities to have an opportunity to serve our institution should be given, and not always the same person or the same company or the same people. So just wanted to say that. So I want to give an opportunity to somebody else as well, and not always the same people. That's been my sentiment since I've been in this board, and so we'll just have to vote and see what happens.
I'm looking at Mr. Cascos, and I can't see very far from here. Is that you, Mr. Cascos? No, it's not. Okay, so it is. You know, we have that come up because Mr. Cascos give us great service all the time, and we send out for RFQs, and he comes back to be the best qualified and the most affordable. So we end up sometimes we end up with the same company because we work with them and we've trusted them and they do for the community, right? So I hear Mr. De Leon loud and clear, and I always advocate for the local guy. Do they have an office here? Do they contribute to the college? Do they serve on our boards? And I take all of that into consideration. I too was voted to take care of the money of the college. But with that being said, Ms. Delia, do you have anything to say?
I read through the packet. I didn't see anything negative. I didn't see anything that I did not agree with. If somebody can tell me otherwise.
This was a request for qualifications, ma'am, and both firms are qualified. So yes, there's nothing wrong with neither one of the firms.
Ms. Alejandro?
No comment.
Okay,
Is there, if I may,
sure.
is there an advantage to having the same collection agency as used by the city and the BISD? Because I think they're all the same.
Higher collection for BISD versus us?
Currently, they, in the one in option A, Limburger has but one of the entities in our county that they collect for. we have the option of going with either one without even doing a request for qualification. What this RFQ does differently, sir, is that now we will have a direct contract with that collection firm that will have a specific criteria that we will negotiate or enforce. Right now, we just
Answer
go,
my question.
yes.
Is there an advantage to having the same collection agency that you know of? You may not know.
No, sir. I think the county works with both firms, so I don't think it'll be a problem or an advantage or a disadvantage, in my opinion.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'll take a vote. All those in favor, A was Lineberger. All those in favor of Lineberger signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, all those against? Okay.
You break the tie.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm very conflicted on this because I'm looking at Judge Hinojosa, and as everybody saw, Ms. Hinojosa serves on the foundation board, and I feel very conflicted here, and I don't want to do anything that it is unethical and illegal. Let me ask legal.
Yes.
You have the right to abstain if that's your vote or your feeling.
Okay.
You have that right.
Okay, and I will abstain then.
So then do we still go with option B and?
It's 3-3.
Do we go to option B?
It fails.
The motion fails, okay? So let's go to option B. Ms. Aldrete, you want to make that motion?
Yes. Option B, to award RFQ 2244 for delinquent tax services to Purdue, Brandon, Filger, Collins, and Mott LLP, and authorize President Rodriguez to negotiate a contract as presented. If a satisfactory contract cannot be negotiated with the firm, then the award should be made to the highest ranked respondent, Lineberger, Goggin, Blair, and Sampson LLP.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Discussion.
What are the scores that the firms have? And how did you reach those scores? I have something on my packet that you didn't post up there. Would you please post it?
Can you return the presentation? There,
No, there's a bigger one.
there's a what?
There is a bigger,
We don't disclose the
Okay.
individual scores. We only disclose the aggregate of the scores, sir.
perfect. So what are the scores? 91?
91 versus 76.6. Again, this is the perception of the committee that reviewed both based on what we were given to rate.
And the committee consists of groundskeepers, custodians, or persons who have knowledge of finances and collections and things of that nature?
Safety and risk management.
It was evaluated by Mr. Pacero, our controller, by Ms. Crystal Height, our budget analyst, and Ms. Kila Turtle, the director of operations in safety and risk management.
And they figured that it was a 96 to a 70-some score.
91 to 70, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Those were the aggregate scores.
Thank you.
And Dr. Figueroa, and they're both qualified to do the same job, right?
Yes, this is a request for qualifications, and they're both qualified. They meet the minimum requirements.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any discussion? More? Okay, then I'll take a vote on, what is the name of the other company? Purdue. Option B.
Option B.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
Okay, and I'm going to abstain as well.
So what happens?
Table it?
Well, the motion fails, and we'll go back to the drawing board.
Okay.
Okay? We'll go back to the, move on. Mr. Herrera, anything else?
Yes. Have a
7B.
7B, an annual investment report for fiscal year ended 2022. I'll call on Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera, members of the board, President Rodriguez. Before you, you have our annual investment report. This is for fiscal year '22. In the previous meetings, we reported the 4 quarterly reports. This is something that we have to submit to the coordinating board. So the format of this report is different from the one we normally do based on the requirements of the coordinating board. Mr. Pizarro will be doing this item.
Thank you, Dr. Figueroa. Mr. Herrera, Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, good afternoon. We have for you the annual investment report for the fiscal year ended August 31st, 2022. This report is required by the Public Funds Investment Act, and it is the culmination of the 4 quarterly reports that we present to the board. Now, this report format is stipulated by or under the Public Funds Investment Act, so that's why you see it in this manner and in that 2-page format. I'll very briefly go over the dollar amounts that we report. We have our investments, which are $231,797 for that first category. And then we have, on the second page, the remainder amounts, which are down here at the bottom. Can be found there on the second page. And those are made up of our tax pool investments at $7.3 million, our certificates of deposit for $51 million, and our bank deposits of $28 million. So in total, we have $87,116,275 on this report. And if there are any questions, I'd like to try and take the opportunity to answer those. If not, that concludes my presentation.
Any questions? Next item is 7C, Annual Financial Report and Audit for fiscal year ending August 22. I'll call on Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you will be having Mr. Carlos Cascos, our auditor, present our annual financial report. Ms. Claudia is passing out the actual AFR. These are audited financial statements as of year ending August 22. I would like to thank Mr. Cascos for always being so good at responding to our requests. One of the requests we've done, as Madam Chair mentioned earlier, he's been an auditor for several years. One of the requests we've asked him all the time is to have a different lead auditor conduct our audit every year, and he's been doing that. Since 2017, we've had a different set of eyes look at our books, even though it's still coming from the same firm. That just gives us a little peace of mind that it's a different auditor, the one that is doing our audit. Mr. Cascos.
Madam President, members of the board, Doctor, how are you? Doctor, how are you?
It is you.
Sorry? What?
It is you.
Yes, it is me. Anyway, I'm glad, Madam Chair, that you mentioned the switching and being with the same firm. Our firm is large enough to have the opportunity to switch in charges every year as requested by you all in the administration. And that does give a different set of eyes to look at it. Sometimes we find things, sometimes we don't. Each one of my auditors has a different way of approaching. And not that anything's going to change because your financials are always clean. You always receive an unmodified opinion, which is the best opinion that any entity can receive. So I'm just here to introduce this year's lead auditor, Roel Cantu, and he will be making the presentation. And so he said, well, how come you're not doing it? Because I've been doing this for 45 years, and I think it's time to let the newbies come in and kind of practice and make presentations to you all.
We like you, Carlos. We like the way you dance. We like the way you sing.
Well, I wish I could still dance the way I did 45 years ago, but I can't. But anyway, with that, Roel Cantu.
Thank you.
Sorry. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Like Mr. Casco said, my name is Roel Cantu, and I'm going to be presenting the annual financial report for Texas Southmost College for the year ended August 31st, 2022. First and foremost, I would like to thank Dr. Figueroa and Mr. Pacero and their staff for providing all the information that I had been requesting in such a timely manner. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here presenting today, so thank you very much. All right, in front of you, you should have a copy of the annual financial report. If I could please direct your attention to page 1 of the report. Here you will see the independent auditor's report. Like Mr. Casco said, you all earned an unmodified opinion. This is the most favorable opinion that an entity can receive, and it is earned through all the hard work that you all do throughout the year, so congratulations on that. And what it also means is that the financial statements were presented fairly in all material respects for the business type activities. Next, on page 4 of the report, here you will see the management's discussion and analysis. What this is a summarized version of the activity that happened during the fiscal year for the district. Also, you will see comparative information between 2022 and 2021. Next, on page 15 of the report, here you will see the statement of net position. Here you will see all of Texas Southmost College's assets, liabilities, and net position. But I really want to get your attention to the bottom of the page where it says unrestricted. Here you will see that Texas Southmost College for the 2022 fiscal year had $30 million worth of unrestricted net position. I want you to keep that number in mind because we're going to see how important it is in a couple. On the next page, on page 16 of the report, here you will see the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. Here you will see all the revenues and expenses that occurred during the fiscal year. The number that I want to focus on here is the operating expenses. You will see that you all spent $64 million for the 2022 fiscal year. Now, if you were to get this number and divide it by 365 days, you would get 176,000. What that means is that it costs the district $176,000 to open their doors every single day, on average. Now, if we were to get...
176,000?
Yes.
Okay. So we spend $176,000 a day?
Roughly, yes.
Okay.
Now, if we were to get that number that we talked about earlier and divided it by this 176,000, you're going to get a number. You're going to get 175. What this means is that Texas Southmost College has 175 days of operation. Let's just say in a scenario where the district was unable to receive revenue for the whole year, you can operate for 175 days if you were to go liquid. To put that in perspective, last year you had 136 days, so it was an increase from about roughly 40 days. And also to put it in perspective, we recommend usually 60 to 90 days, so you all are very financially healthy.
In spite of,
Congratulations.
Ms. Herrera, in spite of spending where we need to spend, and you fighting, we have 176 days.
We had 133 days at the committee. So right now we're at 170 some?
75.
175.
We need clarification from Dr. Figueroa where she gets her numbers, because I assure you that her number is different than this.
Yes.
And there's a reason for it.
The number that you have, that was for the last year, because
Yes.
now
Okay.
that's for at the end of fiscal year 21. This is the audited financial statements at the end of fiscal year 22. Since now the books are closed and audited, that's the new updated number.
So we have several days to spend.
That's exactly where I was going with it, Ms. Aldrete.
We have more money.
Ruben, I'm going to remind you.
So, okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
It's fine. Next, on page 65 of the report.
65?
65, yes. Sorry. Here you will see the auditor's opinion on internal control and on compliance. What this opinion states is that during our testing of internal controls, we did not find any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses. However, significant deficiencies and material weaknesses may still exist just due to the scope of our testing. And then finally, on page 67 of the report, here you will see the auditor's opinion of compliance for each major program. Basically, what this opinion states is that during our testing of federal and state programs, the district was in compliance and we did not find, they were in compliance with federal and state requirements, and we did not find any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses. So congratulations on all three of those opinions. And that pretty much concludes my presentation, so if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions?
Any questions?
At the beginning of your report, you said that we fell in, what was the name, the category you said?
Unmodified.
Oh, an unmodified opinion?
Unmodified?
That means good. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
It sounds like it
It
shouldn't
sounds
be
bad,
good,
but it's
right?
the most
But-
favorable one.
Modified, okay, thank you.
More questions?
No.
Mr. Herrera?
Next item, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Monthly financial statement report for the month ended in November 30th, 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, with...
Thank you, Mr. Cascos. Thank you, Mr. Royal.
With your permission, Mr. Pesaro will present the monthly financial statement.
Mr. Chris.
Thank you, Dr. Figueroa. Mr. Herrera, Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, we have for you the monthly financial statement report for the month of November. The format of the report is similar to what we have seen before, with the activity or description being along the left column, and then there's individual columns for the dollar amounts, budget, monthly amount, year-to-date, and so forth. I'll mainly concentrate my presentation here on this column, which is the November column. We do adopt a budget for 3 fund types here at the college, so we have 3 of those for comparison for you. I'll begin with the education and general fund, and on this slide, we have revenue for general fund. You can see here it's 10.7 million for the month of November. On the next slide, we have the expenditure category for general fund, and we have 2 subtotals on this slide, 1.3 million and 391,000 for the month of November for salaries and wages and benefits, respectively. On the next slide is where the M&O category begins. It goes through 2 other slides, and it subtotals here, 845,000 for November, and we're still in general fund. We have 2 additional categories on this slide, travel and general institutional, and the subtotals are 23,000 and 1.3 million respectively. And the final slide for general fund will have a recap of all expenditures in November, 4.8 million. So that's revenue and expenditures for general fund. Moving on to the second of the 3, which is the auxiliary fund. On this slide, we have revenue, which totals to 99,000 in November. We have the expenditure category, which begins on this slide, and we have salaries and wages and benefits on here, 153,000 and 28,000 respectively. On this next slide is where the M&O category begins. It goes through this slide and it concludes on the following one. And we have a subtotal for 60,000 for the month of November for the auxiliary fund for M&O. This is the last slide for the auxiliary expenditures, and we have a subtotal here of 248,000 for the month of November. Those are all expenditures in the auxiliary fund. So that's revenue and expenses for the second of the 3. Third and last, we have the general obligation and revenue bond fund. So revenue, we have here 2 million for the month of November. And on the following slide, we would recap expenditures, but there are no expenditures to report in this month. So that's revenue and expenses for all 3 of the funds. The following slide has the detail for the employee benefits for both general fund and auxiliary. So those subtotals are here, 485,000 and 30,000 for each fund respectively. We have a fund balance slide, but that's the prior year number that's on there. The number that was presented during the audit by the auditors, that's the most recent one, so that's the one I would defer to. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip over this slide because that has the prior year number
What
on
was
there.
last year's fund balance?
Last year's fund balance was $23,842,180.
Basically the same.
Correct, sir. It went up slightly by about $7 million, but it's still comparable to what we had last year. The final section of the report has our debt service tables, and those haven't changed since the last time that we presented those.
7 million is not slightly, I'm sorry.
With the fluctuations we see now throughout the year, yeah, I mean, we see it go and then come back and so.
Slightly, 7 million, oh, okay.
If there are no questions with that, I'll conclude my presentation.
Mr. Becerro, I so enjoy your presentations, and you've come such a long way from a few years ago. You do a really good job.
Very much appreciated.
Madam Chair, may I propose Mr. Pacero for the TSC Employee of the Year?
Done.
And see, it's very much appreciated, Mr. Herrera, but it is a team effort, and the team behind this report is really who deserves the credit. It's all of our staff members and our administrators doing their day-to-day things and observing the controls we have in place that yield these results. So that's credit goes to them.
Yeah,
And
it takes a team.
That's a formal
the support of the
proposal.
board and of course, the amazing leadership that we have in.
Mr. Herrera, it's not on the agenda, and I didn't have a second, but noted.
Thank
you, sir.
7E, Fund Balance Report, Operation Report. I'll call on Dr. Figueroa. E.
So we did update this slide. It's not what you have on your packet. We literally updated right before we came into this meeting to match the presentation that was done by Mr. Cascos.
Okay.
42-day difference.
Okay.
So this details the total operating expenses, how much it costs to operate, as mentioned by our auditors, every day this college is $176,000. How much money is in the unrestricted balance, which is almost $31 million. So if you divide that by the number of days, we have 175 possible days of operation if there were to not be any revenue received, which we did. This is information as of August 31st, 2022.
Okay.
Next item, 7F, Institutional Cares Expenditure Report. That's for Dr. Zavaleta.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. Here you have the updated CARES expenditures for this month, which was a total of $219,878. And in the report, you have the detailed list of what that 200,000+ consists of, with the name of the vendors, the amount, and the quantities of what was purchased through CARES.
Do we have any monies that we need to spend?
We still have funds available. They're all budgeted to be spent within the time of the grant, sir.
A brief comment. It's not correct to say thank God for the CARES Act, because the CARES Act came about due to a terrible pandemic that cost many, many lives. But I believe the federal government, wanting to make things good for all of the community colleges and all of society, has funneled cash to this college, and I think we're making great investments on whatever the monies we've been getting from the CARES Act. So thank you, CARES Act. Thank you, U.S. government. Next item.
Yes, sir.
Grant report.
This item will be presented by Ms. Angelica Fuente.
Were you done with the last one? Okay.
F17.
It was information on
Madam Chair, TSC Board of Trustees, and Dr. Rodriguez, I'm here to present on the last 2 months board, grant awards, not board awards, grant awards. The first one is JET grants. The first activity was an extension of our Steel Coast Skills Development Fund, which is our customized training for Steel Coast. The second one is a JET grant for equipment for our robotics program with Dr. Abu Salim. And actually, right now, shortly, Dr. McCormick will be coming with the equipment, and it will be covered by the JET grant. And last, a small grant from our Humanities Texas that supports our biliteracy conference that we have every spring. Do you have any questions?
That's exactly what I was going to ask. No questions? Thank you so much. That concludes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 8, Student Services, Ms. Delia signs.
The Student
Ms. Delia Garza?
Services Committee met on Thursday, January 12, 2023. Present were Chair Garza, Ms. Alejandro, President Rodriguez, myself, and members of the TSC administration and board legal counsel. The committee discussed the following items: athletic NJCAA update. I call on Mr. Rene Villarreal and Dr. Ponce to present.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. Athletics is real, it's here, and therefore we're in motion. So I'd like to ask Dr. Ponce to present the following update.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez, I want to provide an update on recruitment. We are in full swing recruiting our future Scorpions. A couple of weeks ago, beginning of the month, Brownsville held their 40th annual Brownsville Boys and Girls Soccer Tournament. It's one of the biggest tournaments in the state, and had opportunity to see a lot of our wonderful kids with all the great talent that the Valley has. There was 25 boys teams, 32 girls teams, and I had an opportunity to meet a lot of the head coaches, a lot of influential people in the soccer community, and of course, a lot of the students that we want to recruit here at TSC. District play actually began last week, so I've already attended a couple of games this week, and we'll continue to recruit our local student athletes. We're getting a lot of interest. I'm getting parents and students reaching out to me directly already, so it's an exciting time. And just to give an update on some of the transfers, we have 3 young men that we're trying to transfer in. At this point, we have 2 that we're able to transfer. 1 we're hoping to transfer in the fall. We have 3 young ladies who are trying to get transferred in. We have 1 that transferred in, and 2 again that we're still working on, hopefully possibly getting in the fall. With the transfers, it can get a little bit tricky depending on their hours, also depending on them getting released from where they're at.
Transfers from where? Like other colleges?
Other colleges, yes, yes. So, and again, we're working on that. We're showing, there's some students that are reaching out to us that have left, that are here from the Valley, and they're coming back home.
Awesome.
So I know that you say that you're talking, or you spoke to coaches. Have you spoken to our local district coaches, or?
Yes, Pace, Porter, Hannah,
Okay.
yeah, Los Fresnos,
Yes,
yeah.
Because they gave us a report in cabinet, and I mean, I know that the girls and the boys did amazing in those those games that recently had.
They did, yes. Our local teams did very well, and we continue to have conversations with them, and they're very receptive. Very excited to have TSC here for them so they can stay home.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Ms. Alejandro, anything?
No, I'm good.
Claudia, today you sent us emails, and it was something about soccer. No?
Yes, for the, it was a calendar invite. Yes, we're still working on the.
A pepper rally.
We can't hear you,
Was
Miss
it a
Miss
pep rally?
Miss Saenz. Talking to the mic, please. We can't hear what you.
I believe it was a pep rally.
Yeah, it's a pep rally we're working at, and it we kind of got a little bit, I started making some inquiries about reservations, but we're trying to solidify a date in mid-February to have a pep rally to showcase our new student athletes.
So that's up and coming.
Yes, it is something we're working on.
All right.
And just some of the next steps, we're going to kick off our off-season program. We're actually going to push it back a couple of weeks. But we're getting our students right now this week, next week, we're getting kind of acclimated to their courses. We're setting up our mandatory study hall, and we're making sure that they're kind of got their feet set on the ground. So our soccer schedule will be finalized shortly in February. So we already know who will play. We just need to determine the times. And again, this needs to be final approval by the region presidents and the athletic director. So hopefully by the next board meeting, we can have a schedule so that everybody can see where we play and who we play.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll continue to recruit.
Thank you. This was for information only.
Are you done, sir?
Yes, I open to any questions that anybody may have.
You can tell we're excited because we cannot hold our excitement. Everybody's talking. So it is a good thing. It is a good thing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Hines, that concludes your report.
Yes, that concludes our report. Thank you, Dr. Porter.
Question, are we looking
Siempre no.
at any other sports, like volleyball? We used to be very good. Baseball, we used to be very good.
Right now, and in conversation with Dr. Rodriguez, we want to make sure that we get our feet set and that we kick these two programs off before we explore other sports. The other ADs in the region are, trying to already say, well, are you going to do baseball, volleyball? I told them one step at a time, one step at a time, yes.
Well, Mr. Herrera, just to remind you that the reason why we went with one at a time, because it does cost a lot of money to have a.
We have 14.
And we have to have boy and girl
And
team.
boys and girls. But I would love to have volleyball and baseball as well.
Down the road, down the road.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to the tailgating.
Question, if I may.
Tailgate.
Well,
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Does our soccer team have an academic coach or counselor?
Yes, so
Do we have people that are watching, making sure that they're going to their classes, that they're passing their courses?
Yes, right now we have actually a success coach that's worked with each individual to make sure that we set them up with their schedule, we make sure that they're compliant, and I'm working personally with each student to making sure that they're going to go to class and that they're getting all the work done as we move forward.
Thank you. I think that's important.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ponce.
Okay,
That
then
concludes my report.
Thank you. Number 9, Academic Committee. Dr. Saleta? Talk
Yes,
to us.
item number 9, Academic Committee. A, consideration of possible action on approval of purchase of collaborative robot educational training system for the Industrial Mechanics and Maintenance Technology Program.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. Thank you. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, President Rodriguez, this item I'm bringing for your consideration and possible approval is a purchase of a collaborative robot educational training system for the Industrial Mechanics and Maintenance Technology Program. The purchase consists of 4 MIR 100-based robots and MIR chargers, 2 universal robots and components from Advanced Technology Consultants. It also includes 1 CRX 10-1A collaborative robot and 1 standalone ER4IA collaborative robot with components for the same program from Technology Laboratory Systems. This purchase of this equipment will expose students to the world of industrial collaborative robotics while teaching them how to program and troubleshoot robotic systems. The expense will be covered by the JET grant that Dr. Fuentes mentioned. It was approved for fiscal year 2022-2023. Both purchases will be made through the interlocal purchasing system. Contract is in accordance with TSC board policy. And I have, this is the, I guess, the breakdown of some of this equipment. I have Dr. Abusalam with me to give further details and to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? No. Okay, there being none, item B, consideration of
Wait,
possible
wait, wait,
action-
wait. We need a motion.
Excuse me?
Yeah, she's ready, he's reading it.
Oh, he read the motion already?
Yes, he's reading it.
He said B.
talking?
The motion.
Oh, the
The
motion.
motion. We need a motion.
There were, okay, that's correct. Thank you.
Will you mean?
I move, I so move.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Okay. Can you read the motion, please, sir? Dr. Zavaleta? Can you read the motion?
I'll read it.
You want me to read it again?
Did he read the motion?
Yeah, I'll be happy to read it.
Okay, please.
Consideration of possible.
No, sir, the motion, down the road, down.
To approve,
Motion to approve, exactly.
do you want me to read?
Can you read the motion?
To approve purchase of collaborative educational training systems from TS Enterprise Associates, DBA Advanced Technologies Consultants, in the amount of $240,130, and Technical Laboratory Systems in the amount of $108,599 through the Interlocal Purchasing System, Cooperative Contract Number 191003 and 200105 respectively, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase
Where is
order
that?
as presented.
Second.
Okay,
There's, Dr. Zavaleta made the motion, I seconded.
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
he just read the motion.
okay.
That's fine.
I just need to have the motion read. Dr. Zavaleta, I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Mr. Herrera. Thank you, Ms. Delia, for reading the motion.
Yes, ma'am.
Any question, discussion?
No.
Come on.
All those in favor, signify.
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry for that
It's
confusion.
okay.
9B, consideration of possible action on the approval of a memorandum of understanding between Texas Southmost College and Brownsville Independent School District for the 21st Century Community Learning Centers Grant Program.
Okay.
Angelica, Dr. Fuentes?
Yes, thank you. Madam Chair, TSC Board of Trustees, and Mr. Dr. Rodriguez. In preparation for our submission of the next grant for 21st Century, we have an MOU with BISD. We'd like to continue our 10 centers with BISD for another 5 years. The grant is in total of $10 million for $2 million each year for 5 years.
Yes.
Okay.
And how much of that do we receive?
$10 million for 5 years. We will receive all of it. We are the fiscal agent, and we will work with BISD to pay their staff to cover our after-school programming. But we receive the 100% of the grant.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
I move to approve the memorandum of understanding between Texas Southmost College and the BISD for the Nina Lowy 21st Century Community Learning Center Cycle 12 program contingent upon the grant being awarded.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Mr. De Leon, I think by a split second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. 9C.
Thank you.
9C, consideration and action of possible approval of an articulation agreement with Collin County Community College District for a Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. This item consists of an articulation agreement between Texas Southmost College and Collin County Community College. The agreement will enable TSC graduates of our associate degree in nursing program to transfer to Collin College to complete a Bachelor of Science degree without loss of semester credit hours. Under the agreement, our students will not pay an application fee to Collin County Community College. The agreement is for 5 years and has been reviewed by TSC and Board Legal Counsel.
Okay. Any questions?
Just curious,
Where is Collin Community College?
where is it?
Outside that. North?
No.
It's in Plano.
Plano, Texas.
I know.
100% tax collection.
I move to approve the articulation agreement with Collin County Community College District for associate degree in nursing graduates and authorize President Rodriguez to sign the agreement.
Second.
Motion. My kids shall play. Motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Mr. De Leon again.
Is that your committee?
No. All those,
but I like it.
any discussion?
No.
All those in favor, signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
Aye.
Against?
Item 9D.
Motion carries. Go ahead.
9D, consideration of possible action on approval of an articulation agreement with Columbia Southern University for a Bachelor of Science in Emergency Medical Services Administration.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. This next item will allow, it's an articulation agreement that will allow TSC graduates who have earned an Associate of Applied Science degree in Emergency Medical Science in our Emergency Medical Science program to transfer to CSU with minimal loss of credit hours or no loss of credit hours contingent upon coursework. Under the agreement, CSU will provide TSC students, faculty, staff, and their families with a learning partnership discount of 10% for any and all courses taken at Columbia Southern University. Columbia Southern University is in Alabama, but they have an online program.
Okay.
Any comments or questions? I move to approve the articulation agreement with Columbia Southern University for Emergency Medical Science Professions, AAS graduates, and authorize President Rodriguez to sign the agreement.
I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by?
Before everyone.
Mr. Herrera. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. 9E. Dr.
9E, consideration and possible action on approval of an articulation agreement with San Antonio College for an RN Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. This articulation agreement will allow graduates of our Associate of Applied Science degree in nursing to transfer to San Antonio College to complete an RN Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree program and obtain licensure from the Texas Board of Nursing. The agreement is beneficial for our students as San Antonio College offers both hybrid and online BSN programs. The articulation agreement is for 3 years and auto-renews afterwards. The agreement has been reviewed by both TSC and Board Legal Counsel.
Okay, and I move to approve the articulation agreement with San Antonio College and authorize President Rodriguez to sign the agreement.
I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta,
Second.
second by Ms. Aldrete, finally. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
9F, consideration and possible action on approval of an affiliation agreement with the Senior Care Center at Valley Grande for respiratory care science program.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. This is an affiliation agreement with Senior Care Center at Valley Grande. The agreement is the result of this center coming under new ownership and management. They have requested an updated affiliation agreement. We had an affiliation agreement back in 2017. The agreement allows our respiratory care students to obtain practicum experience in a clinical setting. It's a 1-year affiliation agreement with automatic extensions. It has been reviewed and approved by both TSC and Board Legal Counsel.
Okay. Any questions or comments? I move to approve the affiliation agreement with Senior Care Center at Valley Grande for respiratory care students and authorize President Rodriguez to sign the agreement.
I second.
I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Ms. Science. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item number 9G, consideration and possible action on approval of an affiliation agreement with Suclinica for diagnostic medical sonography and medical laboratory technology programs.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. This affiliation agreement with Suclinica will allow our diagnostic medical sonography and medical laboratory technical students to obtain practicum experience in a clinical setting. It's a 1-year agreement with automatic extensions. Again, it has been reviewed and approved by TSC and Board Legal Counsel.
Okay.
I move to approve the affiliation agreement with Suclinica for diagnostic medical sonography students with medical laboratory technology programs and authorize President Rodriguez to sign the agreement.
Second. I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Ms. Alejandro. Any discussion?
Is Suclinica is here in Brownsville?
Yes. Alton Clore.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Aldrete.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Oh. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
9H, consideration and possible action on approval of a memorandum of understanding with Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society National Office.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. Phi Theta Kappa received a $3 million grant for providing access to honors programming, leadership developing, peer networking, travel opportunities, scholarships, and other services to certain community colleges. The grant seeks to provide recognition and increase student success of high-achieving Black and Latinx students by providing high-quality learning experience and wraparound services. This MOU is, we're seeking this MOU because Phi Theta Kappa has identified TSC as one of 17 two-year public community and technical colleges to participate in this grant. Under the grant, it also includes a travel stipend of $16,500 annually for an advisor and 4 students to attend its annual conference. It also provides advisor training, free membership to all TSC students, curriculum assistance, transfer and career coaching to PTKA members, and other benefits. The proposed MOU has been reviewed and approved by both TSC and Board Legal Counsel.
Okay, I move to approve the MOU with Phi Theta Kappa and authorize President Rodriguez to sign the MOU.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Mr. De Leon.
That's so funny.
What?
We're fighting for
We're
the
fighting for
second.
the second.
They're fighting to second your motion. That's, that.
Ridiculous.
All, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
9I, consideration of possible action on approval of memorandum of understanding with Valley Initiative for Development and Advancement, VITA, for Rio Grande Valley Healthcare Professional Expansion Initiative grant.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. This MOU with VITA, or the Valley Initiative for Development and Advancement. VITA is hoping to obtain and be the recipient of a U.S. Department of Labor H-1B DOL Nurse Expansion Grant or Department of Labor grant. They will use funding for this grant to provide scholarships, expand training, capacity, and so on in allied and nursing fields, particularly nursing. This MOU establishes a collaboration between TSC and VITA to help identify creative solutions for addressing the nursing and allied health labor shortage. The collaboration will be identified as the Rio Grande Valley Health Expansion Initiative. VITA will be the lead agency in the initiative. They will establish a steering committee and develop and implement a 5-year regional strategic plan to address the nursing and allied health labor shortage. And it would coordinate with Texas Southmost College and other training providers. The proposed MOU has been reviewed and approved by both TSC and Board Legal Counsel. I would add that this doesn't cost Texas Southmost College any money. There's no financial obligations. It's simply a MOU to coordinate with VITA.
Okay. I move to approve the memorandum of understanding with Valley Initiative for Development and Advancement and authorize President Rodriguez to sign the agreement.
A motion by Dr. Zavaleta. Second by Ms. Alejandro. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item 9J, consideration of possible action to approve a transfer institution agreement between Texas Southmost College and the Western Governors University.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. Mr. Rene Villarreal will present this item.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. Good evening. To present this item is a transfer institution agreement between Texas Southmost College and Western Governors University. Before you is a request for consideration to approve it. The common goal for this agreement is to provide the institution's students, employees, and graduates with a flexible, personalized learning pathway to higher education and professional development. Our agreement is further intended to formalize the transfer of applicable credits between parties via transfer and/or reverse transfer credits. We're basically partnering together to provide our community students and our employees with an opportunity to continue their studies in a different setting.
Okay, I move to approve the proposed transfer institution agreement between Texas Southmost College and the Western Governors University and authorize President Rodriguez to sign the agreement.
I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta,
Second.
second by Ms. Delia Science. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Okay,
9K,
item 9K, bachelor's degree development update.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. This item is to update the Board of Trustees on our bachelor's degree timeline, and Mr. Oscar Hernandez is here to present this item.
Thank you, Brian. Dr. Zavaleta, Madam Chair, President Rodriguez, good evening. Members of the Board of Trustees, good evening. I'm just here to present, as per the board's request, a quick update on our planning and our timeline for the bachelor's degree here at TSC. So I just have one slide for you. You might remember that back in November, the board approved for the president to sign a notification that was to be sent to the coordinating board. I'm here to tell you that letter has been sent. We received notification that it is in their hands. So from this point forward, we're moving forward with putting together advisory committees for these three programs that we're looking to turn into a bachelor's degree. And also, we starting the work on moving the institution to what is known as a level 2 institution, an institution that is able to award baccalaureate degrees through SACS-COC. So if the board has any questions, I'll be happy to entertain any of
What will
those.
the bachelor's in science, applied science, what would the bachelor's?
It'll be a bachelor's in applied science, what we call a BAS, and we decided to go with early childhood, criminal justice, and then a bachelor's of applied science in organizational management.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
That concludes my.
That concludes your report. Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. Facilities Committee, and I'll call on Ms. Aldrete.
The Facilities Committee met on Thursday, January 12, 2023. Present were Chair Garza, Dr. Zavaleta, President Rodriguez, myself, and members of the TSC Administration and Board Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 10A, consideration and possible action on contract renewal for property and casualty insurance for fiscal year 22-23.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you, you have a contract renewal for fiscal year 22-23 of the property and casualty insurance. This is, today we're proposing the third and last available renewal to the RFP 2009. What this insurance cover is risk management, basically building and contents of property, equipment breakdown, flood, earthquake, scheduled property, electronic media data, equipment protection, extra expense. Also liability, general, personal, employee, automobile, and school professional legal liability, automobile and equipment, vehicles, and mobile equipment. The vendor in this RFP is TSC Risk Management Group, so we're seeking the last available renewal for RFP 2009, and the estimated projected expenses for the fiscal year will be $483,846. There is an increase in this insurance, and it's part of all of the increases that insurance are posing to their clients.
I move to approve annual contract for property and casualty insurance with TSC Risk Management Fund through RFP 2009 for fiscal year 22-23.
Second the motion.
A motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. Herrera. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
10B, consideration and possible action on approval of budget change 2303 for electrical and audio upgrades for TSC Criminal Justice and Courthouse Project.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you and for your consideration, you have Budget Amendment 2303, and this is to approve a budget increase of $70,000 for upgrades to the TSC Criminal Justice and Courthouse project.
Half a day?
This,
Sorry? That 70,000 is half a day of our fund balance.
No,
We spent about 30 days on Mr. De Leon's project for the cafeteria, and I don't know what Ms. Aldrete will be coming up with soon. Anyway, it's only half a day.
They just told us 176,000
I know.
a year, so
We have
that's one, that would be
Half a day.
1/3.
We're good, we're good. I just had to mention it, Mr. Herrera.
I had to answer.
I move to approve budget change 2303 for $70,000 for electrical and audio upgrades for the TSC Criminal Justice and Courthouse project.
Second the motion.
A motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. Herrera. All those in favor?
No comments?
I'm sorry, discussion.
Yes, I just want to bring it up. Mr. Herrera, when we needed broken chairs replacement, you had a difficult time accepting that need. And I just want you to know, $70,000 for the criminal justice and courthouse project is not a lot of money. But I'll go ahead and grant it to you.
Excuse me.
Thank you for generosity. I don't think this
Wanted to recall
sidebar is
broken
going
chairs
to,
versus this upgrade.
I don't think this sidebar is going to end very well.
Well, what I'm going to say is that this electrical has to be done. So,
I'd also
all the kidding aside, yes, ma'am.
That, I just want to comment that in the beginning, we were going to pay 230,000, and now it's down to 70,000. So thank you for that. We're saving a lot of money.
Madam Chair, if I may, this is an ongoing project, just as the cafeteria was, just as Oliveira was, and it will incur expenses. This project started off by Judge Recio taking on this project, and COVID came along. He could not raise the funds to fully fund this project, and the Board of Trustees took on this project. So this is not my project. This is one of the projects that will serve 450 students in our criminal justice program. It is a board project. It's not my project. I so happen to be the only attorney on the board, and I pay a special interest on it, but this is not my project. This is the board's project. Let's get this straight.
That's correct, Mr. Herrera, and this is also for students here locally. So it's always for our students.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
10C, consideration and possible action on approval of Char Days festivities sponsorships as detailed in GD Local Community Expression and Use of College Facilities Policy. Con Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, as you might recall, during the November meeting, I brought that we had received 3 different requests for Charter Day festivities as stated on GD local policy. One of them, I was asked to hold on it and bring it back, so it was Nuestra Cultura Mariachi Association. They did submit the request within the time stipulated in the policy. What they're requesting is the use of the TSC Performing Arts Center and TSC Jacob Brown Auditorium during April 21st and 22nd of this year. Before you have a breakdown of what the cost will be to lease those facilities for those 2 days. The facility rental fee will be $10,300 plus custodial and security, which those we pay to those companies. The day before the event fee and the certified electrician fee and the damage deposit. What we bring to you for consideration is to give them a sponsorship of $11,950, which includes the facility rental fee as well as the damage deposit, and charge them just what it's out-of-pocket expense for the college, which is the security and the custodial. What they're offering in return is the maestro sponsorship at $10,000, and it's got the details of what that includes.
Okay. I move to approve Nuestra Cultura Mariachi Association Charity Festivity Sponsorship requested as presented.
Okay.
A motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
10D, facilities update.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, here we have the 7 different projects that we've been providing updates every month. Happy to report the parking lot improvement project was completed in November. You might have already seen some of the pictures and seen the parking lots.
Yes.
We've received a lot of compliments from students and staff. And you have here each one of the parking lots that was done here on campus, as well as some portions of the iTech.
Beautiful.
The second project is the rigging and liner project. This project is also completed. It was completed on December 1st. So all the rigging has been replaced, as well as the lighting for the Jacob Brown.
Yeah.
The third, it's the courtroom and criminal justice programs project. These, we continue working on the electrical and following on the plumbing, the alarm system. It's underway, will be completed this month. Millwork, it's in progress, and the seating, gallery seating purchase of the benches has been placed. The furniture has been received, IT items, as well as we expect to finish the millwork by March, the one that we're doing in-house. And these are some pictures of what it looks right now, the electrical work that it's underway. And this is the items that we have received. The second floor restroom addition for Oliveda is a project that is taking a little longer than anticipated due to some delays. Framing work is about 70%, electrical in progress, and the plumbing has started this month. Due to some unexpected delays in material, now the anticipated day is the end of February. And here are some of the pictures of what that work in progress looks like. The fixed asset inventory services project, we finalized in October the first phase of this project, which was to do the full inventory as well as receive that report. We continue working on phase 2, which is working with IT to assign that inventory by faculty and staff. And another project that it's now completed is the interior and exterior painting of the childcare services. This was done during the winter break when children were not present.
Okay.
And this is what it looks like, the updated paint.
Nice.
The last project, and this one is still in process, we just began in December after the board approved this project, which is the audiovisual upgrades for the Jacob Brown. So the project has started, and we anticipate completing this project by April.
Thank you very much, Dr. Figueroa, and this concludes my report.
11, policy committees,
The best for last.
always.
Policy Committee report. Policy Committee met on Thursday, January 12, 2023. Present were Chair Garza, Mr. Herrera, President Rodriguez, members of the TSC administration, and the board legal counsel. The committee discussed the following item. 11A, consideration and possible action on approval of the following policies: BBB, BBE, BBF, and FLAA. So I wanted to I'm going to go ahead and call upon Mr. Perez, Board Legal Counsel, to present the items. Go ahead, sir.
Would you like me to go through them all at one time? All those?
If I may, Mr. First go on the first one that we slaughtered,
The BBB?
whatever it was, whichever it was. I don't have it in my packet.
No,
You have an
Yes,
addition,
it's in the.
a side packet. You have a
the-
side
the-
packet.
The next one, the binder on the bottom of that one, the bottom one, the bottom, Mr. Herrera.
Okay.
No, it's this one.
Oh, okay, okay, thank you.
Yes.
And you wanted me to go through which one first, sir?
So we're gonna do BBB local, Mr. Herrera, which is the basic corrections that we did.
Yes, that's the only one I'm interested in. The other ones, I'm fine.
Which one?
The first one was the BBB local, And I'll have Mr. Frank talk about it.
Yes, BB local recommended by TASB on update 44. The recommended revisions clarify existing provisions of the policy and add more detail to the board's terms and election schedule. It's talks about the elections. It actually starts on page 359 of your packet, or on the board packet. And the first page of it basically is the same as always. The second page actually delineates and identifies when the elections for the various places on the board will be held in the next 6 years.
BB.
That's BBB local elections.
Okay.
We didn't do many changes, the changes
I have
that,
policies committee version, and I don't see what you're seeing. BBE local is board members authority.
BBB local.
BBE.
No, no, right now
is
we're in
next.
BBB.
I'm sorry.
Triple B.
The first one.
Right.
That one. Those were the only changes we made, remember, in blue?
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to.
that's fine.
If any of the boards have any questions?
No.
I mean, there were very basic changes, and in the committee, we agreed that this is what we would present to you. Well, now we're gonna go to,
We have a
well,
motion.
do we have a motion, one by one, or we're gonna do the first?
We can do the three together, or
Yes.
four
So
together.
now we're gonna go with BBE local.
BBE local board members authority. TASB had recommended in TASB update number 40 to make various changes to BBB local. The policy committee met, and as noted on the ARF, the policies committee recommendations differ from TASB's recommendations. It's attempting to clarify the various obligations between the board and the administration.
So the policy committee met, just for my colleagues, and the recommendations that the committee are making have significant changes, and so that's why we identified the version that says policy committee version. We wanted to keep it basically, a lot of it the same, and a few tweaks here and there. But I would, when we approve, the approval that I want to make is the policy committee version, for you to understand which version we're going to stand, and not take the recommendation that TASB presented to us.
May I?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair? The policy that was recommended by TASB begins on page 363 of your packet. The policies committee version, the recommendation from the policy committee begins on page 365.
I don't have.
We don't have that.
We don't,
365.
sir, Mr. Perez, they're not numbered.
It's the one that says policies
have the
committee
number?
version up here, right?
Okay.
That's the one, the recommendations that we're presenting.
You
That TASB recommended the other.
Excuse me, Ms. Andres, wait.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Wait, let's let the committee iron it out, and then we vote. Because we're all going to talk at the same time,
wanna
and we're
vote.
not going to get
No,
anywhere.
so, Mr. Perez, so the way you're numbering these pages are not
That's
like.
fine. I was going through the.
Yeah, so the first BBE, page 1 and 2 of your booklet, those are the recommendations TASB submitted. The committee is proposed just tweak it very little, and the ones that we're recommending is the one that says policy committee version. So if you have any questions with that, then, we can discuss it, but if everybody's okay, then we will approve this version, the policy committee version,
May-
not the original.
Excuse me, make a notation if you have a question, Ms. Odete, and anybody, and then when we are for discussion, we'll discuss this, okay?
Okay, so that was BBE. And then the next one is BBF local.
BBF local is board members' ethics. The TASB had recommended a significant number of changes. The Policies Committee's recommendation is to retain the current policy language and not adopt the recommendations of TASB.
So for that one, colleagues, BBF, we do not want to accept any of the changes and leave it alone the way it is, it was. Okay, so none of these changes do I want to, well, do we in the committee?
Are
want-
recommended.
Are recommended. We want to leave it the way it was already prior to these recommendations.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I asked Mr. Perez to bring us a clear version of this without the scratches and everything.
I know.
So I want to vote to table this so we can go back and get a clear version of what we're approving. That would be my proposal to the board, because we made a lot of changes, and as I see it again, it's gonna be hard to decipher what we voted, what is the policy committee version. I wanted to see something that is definite, without the red or the blue.
Okay, okay, Mr. De Leon, you're the chair.
Yes.
You,
Both of us asked for it.
yeah, okay. But, yes, but you want to table this and go back to the drawing board? What is the,
I mean, I don't know if do you all have any questions or do you all have any doubts?
if there are,
If it's not clear for you, then we can bring it back and we can table it.
Is there a
Because-
reason why we're not supporting the TSC recommendations?
It's because Mr. Herrera wanted a clear understanding for you all, and there's too much blue, red.
There's much too much.
Yes. So we wanted a clean copy and show you, okay, these are the ones that were recommended, these are the ones that we want to approve.
And there
Really
is,
separate them and not have them so all together because it gets confusing.
and there is a reason. TASB blurs out, in my opinion, in my legal opinion, the board's duties and the president's duties, and has the president opine and decide what is allowed for board members to see and what is not. And I have a big issue with that, so we want the board to keep its authority, and we want the president to have his authority. We all have our different lanes, and we want to stay in those lanes. So as I see it right now, it's still blurred up, because I asked Frank to give me a clean version of it, and I don't have it.
okay, Mr. De Leon?
Yes, sir.
There's,
So,
This-
Mr. Herrera, just to be clear with you, so do you just want to table BBF or all of them? Because BBB local was clear, we made those changes, and BBE, we're going with what we had discussed.
Yes.
And table BBF only.
let me just, let's go ahead and vote on, make a motion for BBB, and then we'll take a vote, BBE, take a vote, and then you decide what you're going to do with the other one.
Okay.
Does that
so,
work?
Sure.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to accept BBB local as amended policy in your packet.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion, Ms. Aldrete.
Oh, no, I don't have a question with BBB.
Okay, okay, then I'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
My consideration and possible action on BBE local,
That is the one that I would like to table. BBE. That's the one that we went over, we made the changes, and we asked for a,
Committee version.
Okay. Okay, so I would like to recommend to table BBE local and bring it back on the next board
Your
meeting.
motion is to table it?
Yes, to
Okay, I have
table
a
it.
second?
I second the motion.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. BBF.
Consideration and possible action on approval of BBF. The recommendation is to leave and retain the current policy as is with no recommendations.
I would also ask that Mr. Perez prepare a clean version of it without the blue and the red, and I will second that motion.
Okay. I have a motion by Mr. De Leon, second by Mr. Herrera. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
So BBF is not going to be tabled then?
No,
You
that was
want
not tabled.
just the Original version.
Original version stays, yes.
Whatever that may be,
And
and
you
that's
were-
what I want to see.
In agreement with that?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We just want to see it clean.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Okay, next item, consideration and possible action on FLAA local. Mr. Perez?
FLAA local, student expression, student use of college district facilities. That policy, recommended, it's deleted, and all of the language from that policy has been transferred to FLA local, which is also in your packet.
Consideration and possible action to approve FLAA local.
I second the motion.
Okay, a motion by Mr. Leon, second by Mr. Herrera. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
And that oh, no, wait, hold on, I'm not done yet.
No.
I know that this committee has worked really hard at this, and I've been a witness to it. So I feel comfortable with what you did. Thank you. Okay?
11B, annual review of CAK local appropriation of revenue resource investment. Mr. Perez.
Yes, CAK local appropriation and revenue sources investments. Law requires, the government code requires that the board review this particular policy annually. Our last review was on January the 20th, 2022, so it'll be just for review. The recommended action is to acknowledge the annual review.
So I move to acknowledge the annual review of CAK local appropriation of revenue resource investment.
And I second that motion.
A motion by Mr. Leon, second by Mr. Herrera. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
11C, TSC legal policies update 44. I will call on Mr. Perez to present
Yes,
this item.
TASB in legal update number 44 updated a variety of policies. The ones that are significant for your issues are, again, this particular TASB amendment or revision in section 2 moves, and simply moves, BBB legal to BBBA, and moves various portions of content from BBB back, or the exhibit, to BBB. So we're just changing we're moving the policy from one lettered policy to another. And there are a few clarifications in that also.
We don't have any control over that, correct?
We have no control over that. That's legal policy. The board acknowledges that they've seen it. BCB, legal, board internal organization, board committees. The revision clarifies based on legal authority, and it's more specific as to the policy remains basically the same. It just clarifies with additional language what you can and cannot do, and that includes or entails basically not rubber stamping, the board not rubber stamping what the committee does, and that's when the committee does not act as a advisory board, as an advisory
I can assure
committee.
you, Frank,
I'm sorry?
I can assure you that there's no rubber stamps here.
I think if Mr. Benny and I would have seen something that looked like a rubber stamp, we would have brought that to the board's attention, but it does not. And as we said in the committee meeting, we're good.
Let me ask you another question. Is this board in compliance with this policy?
Yes.
So this item is actually for information only. There's no action on this item because it's the legal policies.
That's correct.
And that concludes my report.
Is there a motion for that?
No, there's no motion because yeah.
It is evident that we are not a rubber stamp board, and I'm okay with that. Thank you. Now we'll go into executive session. The board will now convene in executive session as provided by Government Code Chapter 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. We're now in executive session. Back from executive session. Do we have any executive session matters to take care of? No. Nope, we do not. Thank you very much. Okay, then, what do we have? Announcement of next meeting dates, Thursday, February the 16th at 5:30, and Thursday, March the 23rd at 5:30. Any problems with that? No?
I will try.
Oh, okay, well, thank you. You're so kind. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion by Mr. De Leon, second by Ms. Alejandro. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.